And yeah, make sure to put your info in the chat, and I'm gonna hand it over to you, Stan. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I'm super thrilled to teach this class. I've, as Lisa said, I've been coached by several companies, and let me pull up the right one here. So cool. Awesome. So here we go. So in doing so, one of the things that I've been taught is how to stay in contact with my past clients, current clients. Here we go, and create a good follow-up system, because as you'll see when I'm going through here, I'm going to be covering a lot of information today. So at the end of each section, as Lisa said, that's when you guys can ask any questions that you have. But one of the things that happens in real estate and lending is the bad follow-up that happens, and how many clients go somewhere else down the road. So that's what I want to teach you, because it was taught to me, and it was a huge aha moment. And before we started here, I mentioned to everyone that I've been teaching this to even CPAs, financial advisors, and they've been getting a lot out of it. And since I've been following through with this program, last year alone, we gave out almost $200,000 worth of commissions, or referred out almost $200,000 worth of commissions to realtors, financial advisors, CPAs, et cetera. This year so far, we're up to about 40,000, and the first quarter's not over yet. So let me just jump in. I'll kind of get started. I'm going to move a couple of these things out of the way. So these are just a couple of stats. So 86% of buyers use another agent to sell and buy another home. And that's because they either forgot who that realtor was, or they had a bad experience and they're going back. And these are all things that I've downloaded from either NAR, Keller Williams, either some of the big players out there. 44% of buyers start with one realtor and end up working with another. That actually is a stat that came from my numbers, because we track everything now. So I track a lot of that stuff. 70% of your buyers and sellers forget their agent's name after 1 year. And 86% of realtors never contact the buyer or seller after they close. Literally, they leave the closing table and never contact them. And 14% of your realtors, of homeowners, use an agent again. I mean, this was really eye-opening when I started learning a lot of this. So that's why I want to teach you how to stay in contact with your past clients, current clients, and how to create your own VIP group. And then the last two here I thought were really interesting. That 72% of real estate agents said they were unsatisfied with the number of leads that their websites generate. And remember, they're cold leads, they're not warm leads, and that's what I'm going to be teaching here. 20% of all agents receive 1 to 5% of their business from social media, far less than what most people think. So just kind of jump in here. So our top jobs right now in the market that we're in is, first, to generate warm leads. Second, because of what's happening with inventory, interest rates, things like that, is to manage our clients' fears. Number 3 is you're really managing other people's money. You're managing their wealth in real estate. And going forward, especially with everything that's been in the news lately, is to be a great negotiator by getting the right price for your sellers and buyers. And then most of all, navigate through the bumps of getting your buyers or sellers to a transaction. Like this week, we've had 2 transactions that fell apart due to home inspections, So now they're back out looking and things like that. And then the biggest one, the last one, is to follow up forever, because I'm going to teach you a few things as we go through here. So did you know that each client has a residual income? And this is something that I learned from some realtors in these coaching programs, that they teach their new realtors right up front, so that they actually have the ability and want the ability to stay in touch with them. So I've been teaching this, as I said, CPAs, financial advisors, and because they're not the only ones that have residual income, we have the ability too. So let's kind of talk about that. So The answer of this is that each client over a 7-year period should be worth 7 transactions. So you help them, one, when they bought. In 7 years, when they go to sell and buy, if you stayed in contact with them and did all the right things, you should be helping them then. And then each year, you should be getting at least one warm referral from them that's either buying or selling. So if you just take an average $300,000 sales price, which I know is low in the market, but it was just simple math. So, and if you're getting 2.5% commission, that's $7,500 per transaction. So that client's lifetime value of just that 7 years is $75,000. And think about that. That's incredible because it was an eye-opener to me, and that's why you should stay in contact and stay in a relationship with these clients. And that's what I'm going to teach you here in the 3 different ways to stay in contact. So our first thing that you're looking at is how to influence your clients, because you have to let them know that, hey, you work by referral only, that you're just not there to help them, that you can help other people that they know. Think about this. Online leads, whether it's internet, wherever it is, mailers, whatever, you might be lucky to get a 5% response on those or close, where past clients and warm referrals should be up there worth about 68% of your close ratio and things like that. So, and one of the things that I learned is to set a monthly goal of how many current client, past client, and VIP referrals that I'm looking for. And I'm going to and at the end, when they send out the information, when Lisa and then there's one form there, it's called a lead tracker, and that's going to help you track that if you do that. I do it every single day. So let's talk about past clients first. So past clients, I split it into 4 weeks because obviously there's 4 weeks in a month. And I spend 1 to 2 hours every week. Now I do theme days, and I'll go over that with you at the end. But one of the things that you're always wanting to do is figure out your scripting, salutation, how you want to talk to them, how they're feeling, how you're feeling, why you're calling them, and then your call to action. So, and then you can, by the way, you can always use this on your thank you cards and things like that. I don't know how many of you have a thank you card schedule. Every new lead that comes into us gets a card, and then the referral source also gets a card also. So week number one, we call the 6-month anniversaries. So you want to follow up with them. You want to ask them, hey, do they need any contractors? What's going on with their home? Is there any questions that were left over from the sellers now? Because now we might be in a different season or anything like that, where you could reach out, to the listing agent. And then you want to talk about their ROI, the return on investment. And I'm going to show you that here in a little bit. What I talk to them about is EPOs or early payoffs. In my world, in the lending world, if a loan pays off less than 6 payments, I have to pay back all or part of my commission. Most lenders have to do that. So that's what I'm talking to them about at that point. And again, right now we're talking about, hey, here's what's happening with interest rates and things like that. But you'll have an opportunity to stay in contact with them. But then at the end, you always want to ask them for a referral. What I always say to them is, hey, who do you know, friends, family, coworkers that are looking at buying, selling, or refinancing? Now, I know you saying refinancing, would be, you're asking, well, why would I do that? Well, you can hand it off to your lender. And that way, you could refer them back and stuff like that too. So week 2, those that closed last month, and then we're going to work on birthdays too. Okay. So you always want to thank them for allowing you to help them. How they make it out, because now it's just closed last month, or they all moved in. Did anything come up? Do they have any questions for the sellers? Here's a big one in case you're mailing them something, because we come across this all the time. Did they change to a PO box or anything like that? Because a lot of people are doing that now, especially with the whole thing with mail getting stolen out of mailboxes in certain areas and stuff like that. And then here's a big one. Remind them about the homestead exemption. We do annual reviews, and when we did our annual reviews, and we're doing them right now, but we're finding that over 30% of our clients that have been in the home a couple years still have not completed the homestead exemption. So that's a way for them to save money on their taxes and stuff like that. So again, it's a way to give back because it's not just about the mortgage processor or anything like that. And then always ask for referrals. And then those birthdays that are in that month, you can call them. What we do here is we call on a weekly basis. Whatever birthdays come up, I have a list of my CRM that comes up on Sunday for Monday through the next Sunday that I'll call them on Monday and wish them a happy birthday. That way I'm ahead of the game. I used to try to do it once a month, but that didn't work. And listen, stuff comes up every day that even if you try to do it every day, it's not going to work. But we also have an automated email that generates that goes out on the day of their birthday also. But I always like that extra touch because when you call, you can always ask them for a referral too. And it's amazing how many people will call back if you get their voicemail. Week number 3, call those that closed a year ago. And you'd be surprised how many times and even from my end, how thankful they are that you're calling them. Do they need anything? Again, it's just a way of helping them and always thanking them for the opportunity to assist them. And then always ask for the referrals. Again, who do you know? Friends, family, coworkers that are buying, selling, or refinancing either now or in the future. And then again, that week you should be calling the birthdays and things like that. Week number 4, you're going to call the prior house anniversaries, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. And you can split this up however you want during the month, but the idea is to stay in contact with them forever so that you know exactly what's going on and everything. All right. One of the things that came up, yesterday, I was talking to a client. I called a client to wish him happy birthday. And he says, hey, by the way, we're thinking about selling our house. And I haven't heard from their realtor. I'm like, great. She still has the same number, but literally he hadn't heard from her in the last 12 months. She had not reached out. So do me a favor and reach out like that. Or if you're going to have a hard time reaching out, make sure you partner with your lender that helped those clients to help you stay in contact to always bring your name up. And then you're going to talk about the ROI. So let's talk about the ROI. So what we do and what I do is just a little trick that I learned from a realtor mentor of mine, where if the sales price is $300,000, they put 5% down when they purchased. Now, 1 year later, that value is now $315,000. Essentially, their value increased 5%. But if you think about it, they put $15,000 down. Now they got $15,000 back. They literally have 100% return on their down payment. And that's where you want to keep it. You don't want to get into closing costs and things like that. You want to help them understand that, hey, they've made money on that property. And if you go back to some of these wins during even from COVID, people that bought in 18 or 19 compared to what their value is today, it's incredible. So the minimum times to stay in touch with clients is 4 times a year. Either do it 1 per quarter, 1 per season. And again, you want to call, text, email, visit, or invite to an event. I'll give you a great story. One of the clients that we stay in contact with, they closed back in June of 21. They're now looking at buying now, and unfortunately, their realtor didn't stay in touch with them. So you want to stay in touch with them because, again, that's residual income down the road. So cool. So when you're calling these clients, if you did not stay in contact with them, there's scripts in here where if you're not staying in contact, hi, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, it's Stan Reinford with Move It Mortgage. I helped you, when you bought your home in, XYZ. This is written for you as a realtor so that you have something to go off of. These are all scripts that I've gotten from different various sources, a lot of my realtor mentors and stuff like that. And again, you just want to say thank you. Let them know that, you're going to be staying in touch with them now, moving forward. You don't always want to ask for a referral or something right up front if you haven't stayed in contact, but you want to let them know that you're sorry, and you're gonna, make those changes and stuff like that. So I've made mistakes myself where I've had clients where I didn't always stay in touch with, but now I've gotten back on track. I have a new CRM and I have a way of staying in contact with all those clients. So let me tell you a story. So we called a client who closed a little over 3 years ago, as I was just telling you. Again, they did not stay in contact with that. The realtor did not stay in contact with them. So now that client went with another realtor. Okay. So you want to do that. The other one, we recently just called some clients to wish them a happy birthday, and they said, hey, we want to get pre-approved to buy an investment property. I said, great, let's talk to XYZ. And they're like, no, we're already working with another realtor. And here's the big thing. This realtor referred them to a contractor who was also a part-time realtor. That contractor was doing a lot of work in their home. So you want to be careful on who you refer them to, that if you're referring that contractor to just do work and you want to maintain that client, make sure that you do the proper handoff there, because that was an interesting story, because unfortunately that realtor that referred them lost out on some future income, and actually probably now that client has a new relationship with somebody else. So you want to be careful about that. So again, you want to stay in a relationship. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just as long as they know that you're thinking about them, that you're talking to them and thanking them, and then also talking about residual income, because clients always want to hear that, especially in the market that we're in. So cool. So that's actually the last part of that section. Does anybody have any questions?
I don't see any in the chat, but feel free, if you do, to raise your hand or to just call out the question.
If you're reaching out to a previous client and they're just not getting back to you, any recommendations on how many attempts you're trying to reach them?
Yeah, I don't give up. So I'll give you a great example. We have a client that we pre-approved back in October of 2021, and they got a little flustered with the whole process and stuff like that, and then decided that they just didn't want to buy anymore. And they said, you know what, we'll call you when we're ready. I lost track of how many times I called, texted, and emailed them. They just called us about 2 weeks ago and said, hey, we're ready. Unless somebody calls me up and says, don't ever call me again, I'll continue calling them. And I lost track, but our contact was over 50 times in that time period with those people. So don't lose track and just keep calling them. Many people today will ignore you, and it's not that they don't like you or anything like that. And I used to take offense to it. I'm like, oh, maybe they don't like me, maybe I did something wrong. But literally, they're just not interested, and they don't want to deal with the conversation. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. Anything else? Cool. Awesome. Well, then I'm going to jump in, because this is one of the things that we've really worked on hard in the last year or so, is current clients. That's a client that comes to you right now that is looking to buy a house or looking to sell. One of the key things that a lot of people wait in all fields, they wait until after they've closed with that client, because they say, well, maybe I need to do a good job first. But if they know, like, and trust you right up front, and there was a warm handoff, you can start letting them know, hey, this is how I'm going to do business. And let's kind of talk about that. So remember, this is like one of the things that one of my mentors said to me is, this is like a game of baseball. There's 9 innings before the game is over. The game over part is when they close, and then you're starting a whole nother game. Okay. So one of the key things that's going to help you through this process, and this will help you also with clients that get a little frustrated, is the art of influence and vision casting that I've learned. So essentially, if you have clients that come to you and say, listen, you know, we want to buy a house, we need to be closer. We work from home now. I have to, you know, one of the spouses has to work from the kitchen table. The other has to work from the bedroom or the family room, and they don't have private offices and stuff like that. So that's their goal. They need to have their own separate area. So when the kids come home and everything else, that they don't have all this craziness going on or have to like leave the room to do anything or make phone calls or loud noises. So you want to make sure that when they're getting a little frustrated, you bring that back to them and you talk to them. Doesn't matter if it's they want to have a swimming pool because they love family parties. You know, you let them know, hey, I can see the kids swimming. I can smell the food on the grill cooking, and you're going to invite me over. You know, all these things that you want to do when you're going through the process here of building a better relationship with that client and getting them to trust you and knowing that you want what they want. And as you're going through the process, you're going to be asking them lots of questions. You're going to be, you know, going down this road of how to help them. You know, this is one of the scripts that we use. So, you know, I have a huge favor to ask you. I told you how much I respect your realtor and how good of a realtor they are. Their only flaw is they don't always ask for referrals. And that's okay. Not everybody's good at that. I learned a long time ago that being shy is expensive, and it's actually a great little thing that I have on one of my walls. So I have a little plaque there. So, you know, I've been doing this a long time. I know that you're looking for a home, but over this course of time, you're going to run into 5 to 10 people that want to do the same thing either now or in the future. So would you mind calling me or your realtor when this happens and provide us with their information? You'd be surprised how many clients will do that. And then, you know, in this case, let's just talk about somebody that's renting. So if they're renting and things like that, then we're going to break all that up, and I'm going to get into this. But here's another script that you can use. Again, they're here. I'm not going to go over each and every word of the scripts, but I can tell you that right now, 67%, if you've read any of the surveys that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are doing right now, 67% of most people's purchases don't go well for one reason or another. You know, tell them, listen, if you're really good at what you do, you pride yourself in being that 33%, and you're going to get them through whatever that is. And then you're going to want to make sure that you're telling them, listen, I'm going to trust you that, you know, if you come across any friends, family, coworkers that are looking at buying, selling, or refinancing in the next, whatever, 1 to 2 months, 1 to 12 months, whatever that is. And again, always prepping them that you're going to ask for referrals. It's another one. We love helping you. Can you help me with something? So my goal this year is to work with more people like you. Who can you introduce me to 2 people that you think I should know and can help in the future? That's real simple. So whatever you feel like, and whichever one, or make your own. They're all here to help you. So again, when you're asking and you're saying, hey, who do you know? Who do you know that's looking at buying, selling, or refinancing? Again, you're not refinancing, you don't do the mortgages, but you can refer them back to your lender. So let's talk about the proper handoff too, because a proper handoff in these situations is, and telling your clients, is through a triangle of trust. Triangle of trust, if you do it correctly, you're going to have more than an 80% chance of referrals, okay, and closure. So, you know, if let's just say that I referred Lisa something, you know, and you know, I know that Lisa is really good at what she does, and she's going to help these clients. So I'm going to say to these clients, listen, you trust me, right? You say, yeah, well, listen, I trust Lisa. You can trust Lisa also. And if you do something like that, your close ratio is going to go up really high. And you have to let them know, listen, just listen to what they say. They're going to give you great advice. So what conversations are you having with your clients? Are your clients renters? Do they live in an apartment complex? Well, that's what you're going to ask. You're going to say, hey, who do you know? Who else lives in these apartment complexes? Or friends that live at home with parents? And then get them to give you a name. Write that name down and everything. What about college? Did they go to college? Who are their top college friends? And then write those names down. Just get the names. That's all you need to do. It's literally a 5 or 6 minute conversation, and you'd be amazed at how many referrals you can get out of this. Who are their best friends? Which one of those still rents and lives at home and wants to purchase a home? Ask them for their names. Say, you know, just is there 1 or 2 people that you can just tell me their first names? And then who are their neighbors? Which ones wants to purchase? So they live in an apartment complex. They probably talking to their neighbors, or if they rent a house somewhere, who are they talking to? What about their coworkers? They're going to be doing the same thing, because when someone is going through this process, as you know, buyers and sellers, they're talking to everybody because that's when they're most nervous. So they're going to be talking about all of that to their friends. As you're doing these conversations, just in that little short period, at the end of it, you're going to say, listen, do me a favor. As you're talking to these people, would you tell them that you're going to refer them to me, and that, you know, and get them the okay to do the handoff? And you'd be amazed at how many times within a week or two, those clients they're getting you the names and numbers, and you're reaching out to them. And then if not, that's okay. You can let them know that, hey, as we get closer, you know, when you get a chance to talk to these people, let them know. And then I'm also going to be asking you at closing for their names and everything, and their phone numbers. So that kind of takes care of the current clients and things like that. Any questions there? Does anybody actually do that or ask their current clients now for referrals?
Yolamar responded saying she does.
She does? Good, good. And on what percentage of the time does she receive referrals? Did she say?
Hi, good afternoon.
Oh, hi.
This is Yolimar. Yes, thank you so much. This is a great presentation, very, very valuable information. I almost always, believe it or not, get referrals when I ask for them, whether they lead to a closed transaction or not. I usually always have success getting at least one from a call.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, do you, those that you're not helping, do you put them into a database also and stay in contact with them, try to ask for their phone number and their email?
Oh, yes, definitely. I do. I keep them in a spreadsheet, and I periodically try to come back to the conversation and ask, hey, so interested in, maybe a 15-minute talk with me, meeting up for coffee. And I kind of cultivate that way.
That's awesome. We also send out, we'll do a text video out to clients also every now and then, because I like to break it up and just send something out. We also put people into our database. I don't know if you guys use an app like Reach to be able to text out. It looks like it's coming right from your phone, but you can put them in there and send them out. On the iPhone, they actually have an automatic send. The Droid does not, but it's a great way of staying in contact, where you could do a video or something and text it out, and it looks like it's coming directly to them, although you're sending them out in bulk too. Cool. So VIPs. So I'm going to jump into the VIPs. So VIPs is kind of one of my passions. I don't know how many of you have been in BNI. If anybody wants to raise their hand if they're in BNI, or put it in the chat or whatever. BNI for me wasn't successful. In fact, there were quite a few people there in the BNI groups that for one reason or another, I wasn't a fan of referring to them, because I knew how they did business, and I wanted people that wanted to do business the way that I did. And working through my core coaching when I was there, it was one of the big things that they taught us, is how to build a referral relationship with another entity. And I'm going to go over this with you because there's a lot of great ideas, and there's a whole list here of how to do that. But again, when you're getting a regular referral, you have maybe a 1 in 4 time or 25% versus if you're doing a online lead or something like that, it's really small. So if you're closing 1 in 4, that's awesome versus 1 to 5 out of 100. So one of those things that you're going to do is, and what I love about this is I do it on my own time, build my own relationship. I'm not required to go to a lunch or a breakfast every single week and hand a referral out. Because in those cases, if you didn't hand out a referral, then you could get in trouble, all these different things. Every little group had their own little thing. But now you can actually ask other people specifically what they're doing and go deeper with those referrals as you're doing it. So one of the realtors when I went to one of the core training summits, they taught this class, and it was eye-opening for me, because what they did is they had 165 leads in 12 months from their VIPs. They closed 100 of those transactions, which was 60% roughly. Their volume alone, just from this area, was 47 million. So again, their average sales price was 478,000. The idea that she said is all she did and all she wanted to be was the connector. She taught her VIPs how to be the connector and to be a business partner, not a vendor. And I think that's really important, because too many times I found myself in the past not always going deep with people. I'm a very high D, so, I'm always in and out, and I like to do business instead of slowing down and building those relationships. So I think that's super important. Let's talk about who can be on your VIP list, okay? Estate attorneys, family attorneys, probate attorneys, junk collectors. So I want to tell you a great story. So at this same summit that I was at, the other person that was teaching this class with that person said, you know what? I always looked at everybody else, but then I realized that as a listing agent, I'm always working with junk collectors or the people that organize and declutter and stuff like that. And they said, what am I missing here? Because they realized that how many times they referred these people out. They did a survey that they said, listen, they called the junk collectors, they called it, and said, listen, can you do me a favor? How many times do you go out to a person's property, and how many times do you ask, or do they actually give you the answer as to why they're doing this decluttering? The answer was 1 in 20, 1 in 30. And the realtor said, do me a favor. When you're out there, ask these people, listen, why are they doing this? Because I can tell you, we had a situation, my mother-in-law passed 3 years ago. We've had 4 different companies come out to our house to help us declutter, because we had a lot of her stuff in the basement that we wanted to donate and do all these things. Not one of them ever asked where and why we were decluttering. This actually became a really good referral source for this realtor. It can be a really good referral source for you too. Again, anyone, family, that was a big thing for me. I put my family on my VIP list, the ones that I know, like, and trust, that know what I do and could help me. Builders, banks, other lenders, credit unions, friends, title companies, your handymans, your lawn guys. My lawn guy is a big referral source for me, because he'll get a phone call, says, hey, we want to do some sprucing up. We're thinking about listing our house. He literally will call and say, hey, XYZ, I told him that you'll reach out to him, get some information, and then you can refer him to somebody. Your favorite restaurant, if you go to a favorite restaurant, you can have that. For us, the veterinarian. So, and I never even thought about this, but literally we have 7 dogs. So it costs a lot for their checkups and stuff like that. So I'm always talking to my vet. So, does anybody have a VIP list that they work with or have created on their own?
No, but this is a great idea. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Awesome. And then, the one that I skipped over here is other realtors in other markets. I mean, literally, I have between other lenders that I refer to all over the country, because again, I'm licensed in Pennsylvania, New Jersey. That's enough for me. But I have relationships with lenders in Florida and all out west, and North Carolina, South Carolina, New York, Rhode Island, Cape Cod area, all over. But now I've built relationships with different realtors across the country, where if a realtor comes to me and says, "Hey, Stan, do you know anybody in this area?" I can call one of my lender referral sources and say, "Hey, who do you have in those areas?" And then you could get a referral fee. It's a great way of having that other residual income. And the other one that I thought was really interesting, that one of the realtors that I've taught this to now, she's actually working with assisted living places, because if someone is working on their trust, she works with an estate attorney and an assisted living place now, or one of the assisted living people that actually help figure out where they're going to go and stuff like that. I don't know if you call them a broker or whatever you call them. But essentially, she works with them because a lot of people are planning that ahead so that they know where they're going to be going to way ahead of schedule. So that's what she'll do. She'll end up getting referrals from these different places and stuff like that. So let's talk about building your VIP list. You want to have it dividable by 4. Why? Because what you're looking for is you're looking for personality and location, and you should be looking in different areas. One of the things that I found today is most people don't like to travel that far. And when you're having, estate attorneys or, assisted living, places like that, some of them do Zoom meetings like we're doing here, but not everyone. Most of them want to meet in person, and there's a lot of people that want to do that. I see people where they don't want to travel 20 miles anymore. They only want to travel 5 miles just because of traffic. So you want to make sure that you're looking and building these VIP lists in those areas, east, west, south, and north of you. So if let's just say that you have a certain group, and let's just talk about, either financial advisors, CPAs, or estate attorneys. So one of the things that you want to go to or ask is you want to know who their go-to financial advisor, CPA, or estate attorney is. And then you want to make sure that you ask, are they a 1 or a 10? 1 meaning you don't recommend them at all, and a 10 meaning that you recommend them every single day of the week. And if they're an 8, 9, or 10, then that's the type of person that you want to talk to. And then you want to tell them that, hey, listen, I want to meet that person. And if you do this on social media and stuff like that, one of the things that I will tell you is make sure many people make recommendations on social media that they're not even working with. They just say, oh, I know this person somebody told me they're good. You want someone that they're actually working with, that has a knowledge, that there's a trust factor and a working relationship, because it's super important. So, and again, I already talked about the Facebook. So now, once you have that VIP's phone number, you want to call them and say, hey, Chad, I got your name from Jane. I can't believe that we've never met. Jane said you're an absolutely amazing CPA and that they trust you very much. The first thing that you want to find out from them, because you need to find out, are they accepting new clients? Because if they are, then you need their help. Okay. And you tell them that, listen, I want to sit down with you. I need someone in your avenue. And again, it's about referring back and forth. One of the books that is going to be at the end here is a book called Give and Take. It was the best book that I was ever given to read, and I highly recommend it. It's even on Audible, but it talks about business relationships and life relationships in giving and taking. So now, when you're talking to them and you've got them and meeting with them, you're just going to say, listen, I got your name from XYZ. They said you're absolutely amazing. They trust you, and let's get together. So as part of those conversations, you want to find out how they do business. You want to find out how they're going to how they want to be handed off. And here's a specific one for you, is find out specifically what represents their best client. because you don't want to be referring them somebody that they can't really help, because that's going to take away. Financial advisors, most of them group in, a lot of your financial advisors will group into small groups where maybe they might help clients that are just starting out up to $100,000 or $200,000 worth of assets. The next group might be 200 to 500, and then the next might be 500 or more in assets. So you want to make sure that you're giving the right client to that right person. So, these are great VIP calls. Let them know that they're a VIP to you. Tell them something personal that you know about their family and everything. How can I help you in your business? And then you also want to let them know and remind them, hey, I need help too. Is there anybody that you're talking to? Like right now, during tax season, we stay in contact. Now, again, I do it. You got to do it stealthily because CPAs and financial advisors right now are really busy. So you got to make sure that you're calling them when they want to be. Most of them, I'm catching these guys at like 7:30 in the morning as they're starting their days and everything else. So, and ask them different questions. Hey, if you could have a dream date, who'd that be? What about your dream golf foursome? Or if you wanted to hang out, with someone, who would that be? Or what are you most proud of? These are little conversations. And again, a lot of this came from me because, again, being a high D, I'm in and out of a lot of conversations. And tell them how much you appreciate them. It's actually something that's become quite, it's what I say a lot. So, there it goes. So again, just letting them know why they're a VIP. Hey, you work hard, you implement really fast. How can I get better care of you? Is there anything that you need? How can I help you? Or I need your help, and hey, I need to refer you to I need you to refer me a client. It's been a while. So, and have those conversations, because sometimes they forget, or they're not asking. It's not part of what they do, and it has to become a habit. Most of all, you want to teach them how to refer to you, because if you teach them how to refer to you and you listen and repeat it, now you're going to be able to tell them or ask them how they want to be, because it's really easy to do if you do it the right way. Again, you want that triangle of trust way of doing things. So other ways to stay in contact with your clients, because as someone had asked, earlier about staying in contact with clients, how much do you do it? I do it a long time, and we just don't give up. And every now and then we'll have clients that say to us, hey, stop calling us, we're not interested, or they bought somewhere else, or whatever. So, but two things that are great sources here: evidence of success. Literally, this is either a mailer, an email, whether you use Constant Contact or whatever you use, but it's a way of saying, hey, this is how we help somebody. Like, we recently rescued one of our evidence of successes that are coming out is we help clients rescue a transaction that had gone really bad, that the lender that pre-approved them did not get all the information up front. They ended up being variable income. They ended up not qualifying on their own. So we had to get a family member to come in and co-sign, which luckily they had. So that's what we're gonna be writing about. Letter of the heart. Let them know about you. I mean, one of the things that I have a hard time is talking about myself and my family. Well, with 7 dogs, I've got a lot to talk about. So there's a lot of things there that we can share. I'll write a little something about my vacation, different things that happen along the way, funny things. And then at the end, you always have your call to action. But on those things, I try not to actually talk about business other than at the end. So here's something else that's really important that I learned that is super important, that 15% of your database, it doesn't matter what that database is, but if we're relating it to real estate and lending, that means that if you have 100 clients, 15 out of them are going to either buy or sell in a given year because they have to, whether they're relocating, circumstances that change something, a death in the family, newborns, you know, anything that happens. So now if you take that same, you know, math that we use for residual income up front, you can have residual income here too by staying in contact. That actually kind of solidifies it. So again, $300,000 sales price, and you know, essentially that's $4.5 million in volume, and at 2.5% commissions, that's $100,000. So by staying in contact with your clients, you could literally be keeping and maintaining, you know, a basically an income like that by staying in contact. Now think about it, as you're helping them and you're asking for more referrals and things like that too. So I guess on that part, does anybody have any questions on the VIPs?
I guess to your point about the VIP list, I would make a correction that I do have that, and I have certain people in the business that I like to refer to my clients, but like you're saying, maybe reaching out to each one on the list and just asking for business or getting to know them better. You know, it takes time.
How often do you stay in contact with those people?
I mean, there's a handful that I'm always referring out, meaning I am giving their contact information to my clients because I know how they work and they work well. So, you know, me stepping up and asking maybe for business in return is something I need to work on.
Yeah. And again, as I said before, that plaque that says being shy is expensive. Somebody gave that to me. I heard that term. That used to be me. Until I learned these systems. One of the things that I do is there's theme days, and as part of the handouts here today, there's a theme day for realtors that I got from the core training. Every day is a theme day. In my world, in the lending world, that's Fridays is calling VIPs. So I have a list of 50 to 60 VIPs, and I rotate them. I call 15 a week, every single week, and I rotate them so that I'm talking to them once a month. Most of the time, it's a voicemail, you know. And again, like the VIPs and CPAs right now, those are definitely like early morning calls. Some of them are texting right now, but it's a way of staying in contact with them. Get to know them, find out about their family. We had one recently that their child got accepted to a certain school, and literally went online, got one of the hats from the school, from the college, and sent them a hat. So little things like that. I mean, it cost me $20 and maybe another $5 to ship it, but little things like that. And then, you know, I got a big thank you. Staying in contact with them, you'd be surprised what the residual will be. So, books that can read and help you. You know, I don't know how many of you have read Exactly What to Say for Realtors by Phil M. Jones. There's also another one for VIPs. All the realtors that I sit down with, I always give them this book. But the VIPs, there's a regular Exactly What to Say for business people. I give that to them also. Literally, if you saw my shelf back here, people have asked me already, are you selling books? But that's where I buy them. I buy them in bulk and have them. Raving Fans, that's another great book. Mr. Smooth is a great one for you to figure out what people want, because you want to give them a little something. Give them a little gift, a little token. Connector's Way is a great book of teaching you how to stay in contact with people and really asking for referrals and building that relationship. Fanatical Prospecting is a great book because it teaches you how to prospect every day, especially if your leads are down and things like that right now. It's a great way of building that relationships and things like that. I'm a big mindset guy, so David Goggins, Never Finished. His books are just awesome. And I just need to get out of my own way some days. So 7 Levels of Communication by Michael Mayer. That's another great book of just, you know, pushing through in the business. And then I mentioned Give and Take. I just read that recently, and it was an unbelievable book. And all of these books, by the way, are on Audible. So if you do Audible, I always buy the the paperback, and then also I do it on Audible too, because I've been, as we're all in our vehicles a lot. So I actually listen to them as often as I can. So the forms that you're going to be getting in the handout is a lead tracker. The lead tracker is going to be able to help you track where your leads and things are coming from. Whether it's a current client, past client referral, current client referral, a VIP, another realtor, wherever you are. So you can track those. And what's kind of cool about that, when I was first learning how to do this, the one thing that was not an aha was where it's less, where the numbers are less, could be something more that you work on. So the greatness tracker is where you're going to track who you're talking to, what you're doing, how many face-to-face meetings you had, all these things that if you think about the way your business works, how it can actually help you generate more business and more referrals. We need your help for realtors is a form that I'm going to be giving you too that I got from the core, which you can actually hand that out to help you get more referrals. The theme days for realtors is again, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Each day has a different theme that literally, if you can spend an hour or two, you're going to be amazed at how much that can generate. And then I included my concierge. One of the things that is, I've been listening to a lot of webinars based on what's happening with the whole NAR settlement and stuff like that, is having clients understand where you are and what you do for them is going to be super important. So, and then I'm going to be, you're actually going to be receiving the actual Art of Influence too, also that I all notes that I took from one of the webinars that I was on. So cool. So again, the theme days, Monday is VIPs, Tuesdays are pipeline updates. Every single Tuesday, in my world, the realtors and the lenders do a pipeline we call all sides of a transaction, whether it's the buyer, buyer's agent, seller's agent, the title company, an attorney, there's CPAs involved for one there. Wednesdays are the hot and cold leads. Thursdays, past clients. And then Fridays is either new business or builders for realtors. That's what the core does. So, and then just kind of ending here, a couple of quotes that are on my walls and stuff like that. One by Jack Sparrow. The problem's not the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem. Do you understand? I come across this every day because, our goal is to fix things and help. And sometimes I get stuck in my own mind, so it actually helps me. And then something from the Art of War. You act strong, they act weak. You act weak, they're going to strong. It's all about leverage. So cool. So this is a little bit about me and what we do. Again, our number one goal is to bring back a paycheck to our realtors and bring back referrals, and then also protect your reputation and your commissions. So cool. So that's all I have. Thank you. I hope I kept it to the time period that we're on. So does anybody have any questions?
I don't see any in the chat. So I want to thank you, Stan, for this really informative session. And as a reminder, early next week, all of our members will receive a copy of the recording, as well as your PowerPoint and all of the wonderful handouts that you've allowed us to share with our members. So thanks again, Stan.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I just wanted to add, I actually have a lot of realtors, financial planners, CPAs that ask me to be their accountability partner. So if anybody wanted to do that, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to do something like that.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. And you have Stan's information, and you also get it when you get the recording next week. So everyone have a wonderful holiday, and we'll talk to you soon. We'll see you. Our next Zoom Power Hour is in June. So we will see you then. Thanks all. Bye-bye.
Awesome. Bye.
Yeah.